Test.
I saw your sign over here. I'm Steve Relland. I work for NBC News affiliate KGW TV in Portland. Can I ask you why you wanted to be here today?
Well, originally
I'll go ahead. Are you all right if I ask you on camera?
Gosh, all right.
All right. Can I get your name first, please?
Okay, my name is Gail Stanley.
Hi, Gail. How do I spell that?
Gayle. Stanley, Stanley.
Thank you, Gail. Where are you from?
Salem.
Awesome. Gail, you wanted to be out here today, correct?
Correct. I heard the Republicans walked out and they're on paid vacation on taxpayers' dime, and so I'm here to give my support to the Democrats that are in there doing their job.
What is your best hope for how this turns out?
My best hope is that they'll realize that what they're doing is wrong, and they have no business being on vacation when they should be at work. They can go in there and vote no.
What do you think about their idea of it needs to go to a vote of all of the voters in the state?
I believe that it should go to all the voters.
So no problem there?
No, I don't really have a problem. I just want the people that we voted for and are paying with taxpayer money to be at work.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do you mind if I get your name spelled again, please?
Yes, it's Gayle, Gayle. Stanley, Stanley.
And you're from Salem.
And I'm from
Thank you,
Salem.
Gail.
You're welcome.
Thanks for showing up. How are you? Good.
Where am I supposed to be?
Sure.
This shows how unpopular walkouts are.
Awesome. Thank you.
This is a partial speakers list. We had some last minute additions.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And you are?
I'm Patty. I'm with the No Costly Walkouts Coalition.
Thank you, Patty.
Did you need somebody to go on camera?
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Okay, where would you like to be?
Right here, right now is perfect. Are you the lucky gal?
I'll be the lucky gal.
All right. I hear you passing out some things here, Patty. Why do you want to?
Do you want to wait till the joint?
Yeah. Why do you want to be here today?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear your question.
Why are you here today?
Oh, well, I'm here because, like most Oregonians, I'm really tired of these costly walkouts. The rest of us don't get paid if we walk off the job, and these Republican lawmakers shouldn't either.
This has happened a few times. Has it brought it to a head for you? I mean, is this why you're here today?
Well, it really has come to a head. This is not about a single issue. Last year, as you may recall, the Republicans walked out because they did not want to vote for school funding for our kids. And then when they came back, they promised they would never do it again, and here we are. Here we are. This is the third Republican Senate walkout in less than a year, and last week the House Republicans walked out.
And if you could talk to any one of those people who walked out, what would you tell them?
Come back and do your job. Show up and take the vote.
There is a lot of talk about the side that walked out not wanting it to go to a public vote. Does that make any sense to you as we stand here today?
I'm sorry, didn't say the question again?
The Republicans are asking for a vote of the state, of all voters. Does that mean anything to you today as we stand here?
Oh, being a legislator is a hard job, and we hire them to come here and make decisions and take hard votes. And so they just need to come back and make the vote. And if they don't like it, they can vote no.
Awesome. Can I get your name, please?
Patty, Patty. Last name is Wentz, Wentz, and I'm with the No More Costly Walkouts Coalition.
Thank you very much. Can I get you to define the sign for me today? What is the message you hope is out there?
The message of this sign, there are a bunch of people who didn't come to work, and they should have come to work. This is a democracy we live in, and they've abdicated their responsibility. My sign says, participate in this democracy.
Thank you very much. Can I get your name, please?
Kristen Thompson.
How do I spell that, Kristen?
KRISTINTHOMPSON.
And where are you from?
I'm from Portland.
Awesome. And you're here representing yourself?
Myself and Indivisible Oregon and One Small Thing PDX.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. My tripod was set up here, sir.
Would folks please step forward? Get friendly. Here we go. It's cold. Let's keep each other warm. Good morning. My name is Shamia Fagan. My pronouns are she, her, and I showed up for work today. Be nice, Shamia, they told me. Oh, yeah. Don't breathe fire, they said. Okay, no, I can do this though, because honestly, the don't walk off the job speech is so obvious. It's so easy. It doesn't deserve my fire. Let the people vote, we are told. Okay. But I'm having a memory of an election. Help me out, maybe in the last couple of years. When Oregonians voted and chose our lawmakers. So if you already voted for candidates who promise to make climate change a top priority, make a little noise. If you already voted for candidates who believe that housing is a human right, make a little noise. If you already voted for candidates with the courage to stand up to the NRA and pass common sense gun safety, let me hear you. If you already voted for a government ready to send emergency funds to families and tribes devastated by flooding in the Umatilla Basin, if you already voted for candidates ready to fix our broken mental health care system, protect the health of farm workers, and stand with our most vulnerable foster kids, if you already voted, make some noise! So it sounds to me like the people have already voted. What needs to happen now is the Republicans need to come back and vote. Come back and what? Come back and what? Come back and what? Let me introduce Family Forward Action's Andrea Peluso.
Thank you, Senator, for that introduction and for firing us up today. I want to thank you all for being here, for taking time away from your own work and your own families to be here and make sure that your voice is heard today. We are all here to send a message to Republican senators who are holding up our legislative process. Boo. You cannot walk out on the job. We will not accept it. As a coalition, we are also united behind our governor and our Democratic leadership in standing firm against this walkout tactic. There are no deals to be cut. There are no more negotiations. They just need to come back to work. This is not just about them wasting our hard-earned taxpayer money, although for people who claim to care about the state's bottom line, their continued waste of taxpayer dollars on these costly walkouts does not demonstrate that they care very much about financial responsibility. It's also about them skipping out on the jobs they were elected to do, the jobs that they asked us as voters to give them. They are walking out on the people they represent. They are walking out on the families across Oregon who are working hard every day to make ends meet. They are walking out on our democracy. Oregonians rely on these lawmakers to address the big problems that we face. It's okay for them to disagree with how to handle them. It's okay for them to vote no on bills, but it is not okay for them to ditch their responsibility of governing altogether. When Republican leaders skip skip work, the voices of 4.1 million Oregonians are silenced. I want to remind everyone that these walkouts are not just about one particular issue either. Do you remember last year when they walked out because they didn't want to vote on school funding? Yep. Yeah. They promised they wouldn't do another walkout, but they walked out again and again and again. This isn't what leadership looks like. This is not how our democracy should work. We deserve better. Republican leaders need to come back to Salem and get to work. Thank you.
Hey everyone, bear with me, I'm kind of short. So, I'm Reina Lopez, the Executive Director of Pecun, Oregon's Farm Worker Union. We represent farm workers and tree planters, Latinx working families in the Northwest. And I have 4 words for the Republicans who walked out this week. It must be nice, right? It must be nice. Leaving Oregonians high and dry when we asked you to come here and we asked you to do something for us. Pecun and its members and Latinx working families and really working families all across Oregon don't get to skip out on their work. Right. And neither should our politicians. Right. If one of our farm workers decided not to show up to work today or tomorrow, you know what would happen? We'd get fired. That's right, we would get fired. Fire them. These actions are a spit in the face to Oregonians. That's right. Oregonians who are counting on you. Yeah. We're counting on you to take action on climate today. Not tomorrow, today. We're standing up together, all of us. We're standing up together against these awful walkouts. We're standing up for climate action. And we're standing up against any backroom deals with these senators that left. Because they're over here claiming that there was no GOP input. Well, let me tell you something. As someone who had to sacrifice ourselves, we know that there's GOP input in that bill.
Lots of it.
For the group of senators who claims you're concerned about government spending, well, it seems like you forgot about that real quick as you left on the dime of taxpayers. The people deserve a functional government. The people deserve to be represented here in Oregon. The people need you to get back to work, okay? And while working Oregonians are out there breaking their backs, people are literally dying to put food on our tables. Republicans are joking around about going on their vacations and putting on their polo shirts. Taking and all of this on the dime of taxpayers. So to me, this is not a joke. It feels like to them it's been an ongoing joke. Yep. I have one thing to say, one last thing to say to Republicans. Grow up, get back to work, and do your jobs. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Melissa Unger, and I'm the Executive Director at SEIU Local 503. And as others have said, I want to repeat. We here are united against the Republican costly walkouts. Who are we? We are SEIU, we are Pecun, we are Family Forward, we are CAUSA, we are Renew, we are the nurses, we are Planned Parenthood, and over a dozen organizations that represent Oregonians in every corner of this state. And we are here to say that a vast majority of Oregonians do not approve of these GOP walkouts. And how do we know? Well, because we asked them. We polled Oregonians, and 59% of them disapprove of Republican walkouts or walkouts at all. They want people to do their job. That's 3 out of 5 people. So we're here on their behalf, and on the behalf of all working people who know that if they decided not to show up for work, they would get fired. So the working people of our state deserve better. They deserve to have a legislature that's working for them and not walking out on them. But this is just a cycle now. This is the 4th time. The 4th time they've walked out. And I don't know know if you remember, but the first time that was referred to, they promised to never do it again. But now we're on time number 4. So we have to stand firm and united this time and stay together and say it's time to come back and do your job. We have to not negotiate. We have to make sure that they are pressured to come back and do their job. And that is our job together. We have to call out these costly walkouts for what they are, which is a waste of taxpayer money. So when lawmakers walk out, should they be able to collect their salaries? No! And when lawmakers walk out, should they be able to get their per diems? No! And when lawmakers walk out, shouldn't they be held accountable by us? Yes! So let's send them a strong message today. No, go to nomorecostlywalkouts.com. Yeah, nomorecostlywalkouts.com and add your name to the growing coalition. That's where you can send them a message. Are we gonna all send them a message? Are we gonna all send them a message? Can that truck hear us over there? Okay, they need to come back and do their jobs just like the rest of us. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Karen Power. Last year, I was the House co-chair of the Joint Carbon Committee, and I'm here to level set the policy conversation. 8 months ago, I stood for more than 6 hours of debate, carrying the Cap and Invest bill on the House floor. I answered questions from virtually every Republican about the bill, who tried to delay the process for as long as possible. I stood for 6 hours because I know passing Cap and Invest is what Oregon needs to do to combat the climate crisis. This is the crisis of our lifetime, and I stood there for 6 hours thinking of my 2-year-old son Grady and the fact that we couldn't go outside for weeks at a time when he was 1 because of the choking wildfire smoke. I stood for 6 hours because I know I owe it to him and future generations to do all we can to fight the climate crisis. The House Republicans used every obstruction tool that they could in an attempt to block a bill to address the climate crisis. We passed the bill by a wide margin. And then the Senate Republicans left. They've walked off the job more than once. And now Republicans in both chambers have walked off the job 5 times in less than 1 year. Their big complaint? A lack of process. Let me tell you about process. No bill has ever had this much work in the history of Oregon. This much input, this much public process. It's been crafted over many years. It's been well vetted and negotiated. And it deserves a vote by the legislature. Over the last 2 years alone, we've had 35 hours of public hearings on this concept, including a statewide tour of public town halls. This climate crisis is the threat of our lifetime. It's been discussed for far too long, with far too little action. We know that we have to act. And after more than a decade of conversation in Oregon, this is the best course of action we have. That's right. Those legislators who refuse to show up for work and do their job are saying to a large majority of Oregonians that your voices don't matter. Cowards! I can't wait to stand on the floor and vote for this bill again. Yes. Until then, I stand with you and the majority of Oregonians who know that we have to act. No more delay tactics from the pollution lobby. No more delays. It's time to vote. Everybody, this is fantastic. Let me tell you, the view from over here, it looks great. My name is Barbara Smith-Warder, and I have the honor of serving as the House Majority Leader for the 38 Democrats who all showed up in the Oregon House today to do our job. I gotta tell you, I wish I didn't have to be here right now. I had not planned to be here. First of all, I'd rather not be here because I would rather both chambers were functioning, all of those Republican members, all of us were doing the people's work for which we were elected and for which we get paid by the taxpayers. That's the first reason I wish I wasn't here. Second reason is when the Senate Republicans walked out yesterday. I said, well, you know, that's so disappointing. They've done that before, but I've got a floor session scheduled. We've got a lot of important bills to work on tomorrow from 11 to 3. And instead, so I thought, oh, too bad. I'm not going to be able to come out to that rally. Unfortunately, this morning, the House Republicans joined their Senate colleagues in denying the work of the people. So the obstruction, the delay, it spread across from the Senate to the House, and we're done. We cannot put up with this. Just last week, so I serve on the House Rules Committee with the House Republican leader, Christine Drazen, and just last week she said in the Rules Committee, I think that when we legislate at the ballot box, it is not beneficial to Oregonians. What?
Minority rule!
So, yet today, she and her entire caucus, that's what their entire walkout is supposedly about. So, I know that House Republicans don't want to hear this, but the voters have spoken. Yes. The voters have spoken repeatedly, electing majorities in the House and the Senate who have talked about what are we going to focus on. This is the critical issue of our time. This is what that's right, this is what we campaigned on. This is what we are here to do. The voters elected me to do a job. I got a text from a friend of mine, one of the least political friends I have yesterday, saying, are the Republicans allowed to just not show up for work? No, they're not. I haven't responded to her yet because I can't respond without any expletives. So I'm just gonna let my conversation here answer for it. This is a bill that has, as Rep. Power said, has been more thoroughly vetted, and we have spent so much time on over the last at least the 3 years, and even more beyond that. It is ready to go. It is, the pollution lobby has spent tens of millions of dollars on contributions to this walkout today. This is their shining achievement to deny democracy. This is enough. They need no more delays. Get back to work, show up, and do the job that we were all elected to do. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
My friends, my friends. Yes, I've said it 3 times. That's a magic number. I'm Michael Dembrow, and I represent District 23 in the Oregon Senate, and I am so proud to be here with you. How many of you were here for the first walkout last year? How many of you were here for the second walkout last year? And yet you keep coming back. Thank God you are here. How many of you have been here on these steps before to demand climate action here in Oregon? Thousands of you have been here over the years to demand climate action. And as you've heard, hundreds of thousands more Oregonians voted for candidates who supported climate action than those who opposed it. 120,000 more Oregonians voted for our governor, Kate Brown, who has been such a dogged champion of climate action over the years. 120,000 more Oregonians voted for her vision of climate action than her opponent's opposition. As Rep. Powers said, after years of research, discussion, drafting, debate, it is time. This bill is ready to go. It is more than ready to go. And yet, here we are again, in the midst of yet another effort to stop a bill that our young people are begging us to pass. A bill that is detailed and careful and balanced and full of the kinds of compromises that are needed if you're trying to address the needs of an entire state. So we are here once again to demand that legislators do their job, that they come in and vote. Vote no if they must, but allow our representative democracy to proceed. People all over the country are watching us again. They are watching us not only to see if there is a future for climate action in this country, but to see if there is a future for representative democracy in the age of Donald Trump. Let me take a quote from one of the architects of our government, Alexander Hamilton. I'm sure many of you can sing at least one Hamilton song, but you may not be familiar with his writing in Federalist 22. Thank you, Rep. Fahey, for reminding me about that, where he speaks about the failure of the Articles of Confederation that led to our Constitution. And I'll quote, "Its operation contradicts the fundamental maxim of Republican government." And it's kind of ironic, we're talking about Republican government. Right. Republican means representative democracy. Our Republican government, which requires that the sense of the majority should prevail. Further, quote, "To give a minority a negative upon the majority, which is always the case where more than a majority is requisite of a decision, is, in its tendency, to subject the sense of the greater number to that of the lesser. What at first sight may seem a remedy is in reality a poison. A poison. That poison that Hamilton is referring to is the tyranny of the minority. Those who are seeking to short-circuit this process represent just a third of the population of this state. Does that mean that we don't recognize the needs of the minority? No. Absolutely not. That's why we have made the reasonable compromises that allow this bill to emphasize the needs of rural Oregon while putting a hard cap on emissions. We listened. We worked. We did what Oregonians expected us to do. And I want to give a special thanks to all of my colleagues behind me. From the House as well as from the Senate, for their perseverance in listening and working and showing up and being dogged on this issue. But sadly, that work has fallen on ears that are deafened. What are they deafened by? Money. Truck oil. I'll leave that up to you. If you're confused by what's going on here, it's all about delay, delay, delay. Yeah, 3 times again. One of the ploys for delay that we're hearing now is a demand that the emergency clause be removed from this bill. It's an emergency. A claim that we are not in an emergency. Are we in an emergency? Does the work on this program need to begin immediately? Why the delay? The opposition is terrified that once this climate action program goes into effect, people will see that, hey, this isn't so bad. Hey, it's creating good family wage jobs. Hey, it's bringing carbon pollution down. Hey, other states are following us and joining us. Hey, low-income people are finally getting what they deserve. Hey, all this talk about businesses fleeing the state and thousands of Oregonians losing their jobs was no more true in Oregon than it was true in any other place where climate action has been done. And Oregonians will say, go ahead and put it on the ballot. Hell no, I'm not going to vote to repeal this. This is good for Oregon. Go ahead and spend your tens of millions of dollars to repeal this, polluters and oil companies. I'm going to vote no to that. Delay, delay, delay. We cannot wait. We must not wait. Our forests are burning. Our shellfish are dying. Our children are getting sicker and sicker. People all over the country, people all over the world are watching us. Here in Oregon, we are fighting for the future every day that we stay here and do our work for you, for your children and grandchildren, for our beloved state and our beloved planet. Are you with us? Yeah! Stay solid, stay strong.
I'm Jenny Burdick from Senate District 18, and I'm reporting for work. We, the Senate Democrats, which I am honored to lead, are here to work. We are running our committees. We are making good policies for the people of Oregon. You know why? Because that's what you sent us here to do. How many of you want us to keep doing that? But you know, we have a team. I couldn't be prouder of my team. My team, and I want them to come up here so you can see their face. They're not all here because some of them are in there working. They're working for you. Floyd Przansky. Kathleen Taylor. James Manning. Sarah Gelser. Mark Bass. Chuck Briley. Rob Wagner. Lou Frederick. Jeff Golden. That's it. That's it. The rest are there inside working. Oh, Deborah Fagan. You already saw them. Deborah Fagan. How could I forget them? This is our team. How many of you support our team? How many of you oppose rule by the minority? Get back to work, Republicans. We are paying you. These are our taxpayer dollars. You have a place of honor in this system. You are guilty of dereliction of duty. You are violating your oath of office. And even worse, you are shortchanging your own constituents. We are having committee meetings every single day. Guess whose voice is not being heard? The constituents whose senators are committing dereliction of duty. So stay strong.
Hey everyone! My name is Tara Hurst. I'm the Executive Director for Renew Oregon. We are the biggest coalition of climate activists in the state, and we are demanding that everybody comes back to work and protects our future. Thank you all so much for being here on such short notice. I saw a lot of you when we took over the Capitol a couple weeks ago for our climate action rally. There's probably about 250 people here, so give yourselves a big round of applause. And let's also pay attention to the folks behind me who came and have come every day and showed up to do their jobs. They are the heroes in this. Remember that we must keep the pressure up. Elected officials must do the people's work, our kids' work. That is what we're counting on them to do, and that's what we are demanding them to come back and do. So if y'all want to get involved, you need to go to nomorecostlywalkouts.com, send a message to tell everybody and remind them if they forgot where their job was. It's right here. And we keep doing our jobs. And that's because we care about the future of this state. We care about the future of our planet, and we care about the future of our democracy. We need all of you. We need to keep everybody encouraged and strong, and we need to keep supporting the folks that show up every day to protect our future. This is going to be tough, and we got this, and we appreciate everybody for coming. And again, let's go.
Can you explain for me?
Well, you know, we've got some fat cat GOP representatives still holding out in the state, and they have a right to come and have their opinions, and they have the right to actually vote for the people who they are supposed to represent, who they've been hired to represent. However, when you seem to forget what your job is and you just decide that you're not going to cast that vote that you've been paid to by your constituents and they just don't want to come to work, then that becomes a problem. So even if they're going to say no, we don't want a better climate bill for Oregon, they need to show up and say their job and actually vote for the people.
They feel like the people should vote on this topic. How do you feel about that?
Well, the people have voted, and the people have asked the representatives to keep voting. This is the 5th time that they have walked out in just this session, right? Is that right? I didn't know it was 5 times. I feel like, the mom in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where they say he's been absent how many times? How many times, Mrs. Bueller? That's where we're at right now. So we're just asking that they show up and do their job that they've been hired to do by their constituents. And our folks are already here doing their job that we have hired them to do.
Can I ask the relevance of your mask on today?
Well, it is Fat Tuesday.
And we're tired of these fat cats.
And they're fat cats, which is what they're called. The Big Easy,
Thank you very much. Can I get your name, please?
Mendy Smith Regan.
How do I spell that, Mendy?
Mende Smith Regan, Regan. And we're from Portland. I do use a hyphen.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And another reason is we cannot refer this to the voters as a multi-issue ballot measure. It has to be single issue. And this one has been worked on for over 8 years to be multiple issues. It is funding and supporting low-income people's electric bills. That would be one ballot measure. It is capping pollution. That'd be one ballot measure. It is creating a system for trade. That's another ballot measure. It is providing climate jobs. That could be multiple ballot measures. So what this is the best way to do it, and that's why we have a system for legislators to make these combined situations and these bills and laws that you cannot have as a referendum or a ballot measure.
Can I get your name, please?
Edith Gillis.
How do I spell that, Edith?
EDITH GILLIS.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from Portland, and I dearly love my representative Rob Nose, and my neighbors Alyssa Kenny Geyer, and my Senator Kathleen Taylor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm also an SEIU member, and we take care of the most vulnerable, elderly, and people with disabilities. And our patients, our clients, our employers in the nursing homes and home care work, personal support workers, are suffering from air pollution and poisons that cause brain injuries, from dementias to autism, you name it. And they need us defending them so that they get the support they need. If we don't pass this climate bill, it's destroying the economy, which means there's less money available for our patients, our employers. And so we are out here for the sake of the vulnerable who cannot come out here in the cold in their wheelchairs or in their beds.
They were over there for dinner the other night, apparently. Not while I was there. But Holly was telling me that their kids are 4 and 2, I think. And Joe is 6 and a little younger and a little All he said was like 3 layers deep.